Bonjour. Hello. Welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 3 of our official guide walkthrough of the game. Last time, we went through the Weeping Peninsula, getting everything notable there. And this time, we'll be going through Stormveil Castle. So, starting here at Stormhill Shack, we will be heading northwest up this main pathway. There are a few enemies here. You can run past them if you want, but they're not too difficult to kill and they give you some runes. Just beyond them, there is a little scarab enemy. Killing that gets you the Ash of War Wild Strikes. From there, I'd suggest sticking a little to the left of the main path, as there's a ballista staring down directly onto the main path, and it can do a lot of damage. So I'd suggest getting behind that in order to avoid being shot. And a lot of the enemies will chase you up to this little choke point here. Very easy for magic builds to just kill everything. And you can kill the enemies if you want, you can run past them if you want. Both ways work. This way gets you some more runes. Either way, you can head into this little tunnel section where on the left side there will be a site of grace. So you can grab that and rest. We're going into a difficult fight, especially early game, so I'd suggest having a lot of red flasks. I'd also suggest having a good early game skill if you can. Something like Impaling Thrust or Square Off or Unsheath. Back in part 1 I purchased Impaling Thrust, so you can have that. But the Longsword has Square Off as its default skill, so you can use that as well. And the Uchi-Katana has Unsheath as its default skill. You can summon Sorcerer Roger for free at absolutely no cost if you want, but I'd rather go in solo. And this is the first notable boss where you can really summon Spirit Ashes, but again, I'd rather go solo than I reasonably can. Now, the reason why I mentioned those 3 skills is because they're all good at stance breaking. And Margit, pretty difficult, very complex moveset. And when you fight him enough, you'll come to realize that his main weakness, at least in my opinion, is stance breaking. Because it just takes 3 Impaling Thrusts, and if you do the 2 stance skills, Square Off and Unsheath, I believe it just takes 2 of the heavies to stance break him as well. So, pretty good way to stance break him early on. And it does a good amount of damage. It stops him from attacking as much. He doesn't use as much FP as spell casting. And in case you're curious, I started as an astrologer, which starts with the short sword, and I'm using the short sword with no upgrades, no leveling to strength or dexterity, and we still got him pretty easily. And defeating him gets you a talisman pouch and 12,000 runes. But the pouch allows you a second talisman slot, so you can throw something else on. Twin Blade, Axe, and Assassin's Crimson are all pretty good. Personally, I like to go with Bless Dew, as the 2 HP per second can help smooth out chip damage when going through an entire area. But what you go with is entirely up to you and your personal preferences. Now, with that being said, there's a set of grace here. And if you haven't gone to the Roundtable holiday yet, or haven't gotten that offer from Melina, you can go there now. And I would suggest doing that if you haven't already gone there. But once you get through that, you can come back here, level up, and there is a main gate, but this NPC, Gustok, recommends that you don't do that. And personally, I agree, as the side path is much better. You can kill him. Keeping him alive gets you access to him as a merchant. He mostly just sells a small shield with a unique parry skill and the bandit set. And much later on in the game, he sells a very rare upgrade material, but I'll be showing you ways to get more of those upgrade materials. There is a smithing stone too. But anyways, keeping him alive does come at the risk of, if you die, he will steal some of your rune. So if you're confident you can get through here without dying, you can keep him alive for the upgrade material. If not, I would suggest killing him. But after getting that side of grace, you want to head southeast, and a bird is here. These birds are very dangerous as they can fly and have swords strapped to their feet, but shields are pretty good against them, magic works fine enough, and you want to go around here. Do not drop down towards those birds. Instead, you want to head up, only dropping down once you get to here. Now, there are 3 birds here. If you're on a melee class, some kukri can do good damage to them and lure them towards you one at a time. Because if you just run over there, all 3 will show up at the same time and attack you. And that's not good for your health. So after killing all 3, you can safely pick up this smithing stone 3. Then you can head north, slightly northwest, in order to get back to the site of grace that you lit before fighting the first bird. And this area can get kind of dark, so I'm going to throw on a lantern, although a torch works as well. Although that does take one of your hands to use. So, which one you go with is up to you. Gustok said that this path was undefended, and there's clearly defenses here, which gives you a little tip to nudge you in the direction of thinking that maybe he's a bit untrustworthy. But here, you can go up the stairs or down below them. Down below them it gets kind of dark, but after this great axe enemy, you can safely pick up the hook claws. This is the basic claw. From there, you can start making your way up the stairs. Here there are some red explosive barrels, and enemies throwing firebombs. So, watch out for that. But getting past them, there's this door here. It's locked, so we're going to have to get a key for that. So you can head up here. You can just roll through those barrels, or if he starts throwing a firebomb, you can just back up and he'll explode them for you. But after this enemy, there will be a door. If you leave Gustok alive, then you'll get a little cutscene when heading into here, where he shuts the door, and it aggroes this knight, therefore leading you into a trap. If you kill the Gustok, you will not have this trap. The knight will still be there, but you can sneak up behind them and get an easy backstab. It won't one-shot the knight, but it'll do a significant chunk of damage. And you can do that by simply crouching, and then heading to the left here and getting behind him, and then doing a light attack when you're pressed up against the knight's back. Either way, here you can get the curved sword talisman, which enhances guard counters. And then here, you can get the rusty key for the locked door that we saw before. Now, as I said in the previous parts, I'm going to be ignoring all items dropped by enemies because I want this run to have as little RNG, as little luck, as little grinding as possible. And so I want to just focus on what you can get guaranteed every time, though there's no reason for you to ignore enemy items. If you see an enemy drop something, pick it up. But anyways, up this ladder, you can head off to the right, where there are two basic enemies. Killing them allows you to safely jump off to the right here. And there's an enemy with a shield. If you have the kick skill, that's great against them. And here, you get the brick hammer. This is a basic great hammer. From there, you can make your way back to the door we opened with the rusty key, and make your way back up the ladder. If you don't care about the brick hammer, or if you did that and make your way up the ladder for the second time, either way you can take a left in order to just continue on making progress. Up here at the top of these stairs, you can crouch before this door and wait for that knight to come up here and then turn around for a free backstab. Or you can just face the knight head on. Or you can let them turn around, walk away, and then you can run up the stairs. Any of the three options work. But however you get up here, you want to head through that doorway to get this site of grace. And you can rest here to get your health, FP, and flasks back. Now there's two main ways to make progress. This pathway with the birds is one, or the second way is to go up these stairs. I'm going to be showing both ways and letting you decide which path you want to take. Personally, I tend to go this back path, and so that's what we're going to be doing first. Now we're going to run through here. You want to crouch and stick to the left side once you make it outside, as that allows you to sneak up onto this enemy. If they see you, they will blow a trumpet and aggro all of the enemies around here. And there's around 4 or 5. 3 or 4, rather. So, you can kill them, then you can jump up onto here, and you can make your way along these little side paths. Here you can drop down and gain a stone sword key. Here is a particularly difficult bird because not only do they have what all the other birds have, being the ability to fly and sword strapped to their feet, but he also has fire. But taking him out, you can safely jump over here, and you can make your way along this little path. Turning corners can do weird things to the camera, so I would suggest taking this slow, because it is better to be safe than dead. Here you can get 2 smithing stone 2s, and then you can make your way back to where you were before. You can jump up this pillar, and then just hop up here on the left side, where there's going to be a few enemies, and upon safely taking them out, you are free to head up this long ladder. Where at the top, you can get the Claw Talisman. This enhances jump attacks. Heading down, you can drop down here, make another drop down here, and you can either head forward towards the enemies or back towards this drop. I'm going to head back towards this drop first, so I'll show both ways. Here you get a Somber Stone 2, and at the cost of 1 Stone Sword key, you can open this door. Inside there are 2 Great Axe wielding enemies, and when you take them out, you can safely pick up that basic wooden shield, the Miser Accord, a dagger with 140 critical, making it great for critical builds, along with the Iron Wet Blade, allowing you to apply heavy, keen, and quality to weapons. Heavy is strength, keen is dexterity, quality is a mixture of both. And that is the main reason we came in here. From there, you can head through this door and head straight forward, slightly to the right, to make it into here with these 2 dogs. Kill the 2 dogs, and you can pick up Chrysalid's Memento. From there, head out the door and to the left to get to this elevator. Don't worry about the big enemy that we've been ignoring. If you kill it, it disappears forever, but you can leave it alive and just run around it without too much difficulty. But that elevator brings you back to this side of Grace. So I'm going to mark that, and then we are going to head back to Stormveil Shack, as we can give the Chrysalid's Memento to the NPC Roderika in order to continue her quest. He mentions going to the Roundtable hold, and so we're going to head there now. She will be here. Talk to her twice. And you will be given a golden seed. You now have 2. Or you should if you have been following up to this point. So here you can talk to Hugh about Roderika. he'll mention spirit tuning, and you can go give the news of her supposed ability that Hugh has been able to recognize. She doesn't believe you, but she asks, or she says that she'll ask Hugh to teach her. So you talk to him about Roderika, pick the top option both times, and he doesn't believe you. You can choose to upgrade a weapon if you want, as we've been getting some smithing stones. And from here, just reload the area. Roderika will now be in a different location next to Hugh. And here she has agreed to take up spirit tuning. This allows you to use Grave and Ghost Gloveworts to upgrade your spirit ashes. Grave for basic normal enemies, Ghost for special, more powerful spirit ashes. And so if you want to upgrade your spirit ashes to make them more powerful, Roderika can now help you with that. But returning to the Rampart Tower, Grace, I can show you the other way. Instead of dropping down, we'll go after the enemies. Now, we've already gone through these enemies once, and I don't want to kill enemies too many times, because, as I said, I want this walkthrough guide, whatever you want to call it, to involve as little grinding as possible. So, if I've killed an enemy before, I'm just going to run past them. That being said, this is also a display of a faster way to get to where you were, though you do miss some goodies. With that being said, this is where we saw the two enemies, and we can now head this way. Do be careful, as knights are formidable enemies, but upon taking him out, we can safely continue on. From here, you can jump up here and head along this rooftop to enter that doorway in the distance above our head. And there is a set of grace there. So if you're just looking to get through here quickly, you can do that. But I will be showing another way to get there. And here I will be showing you how to get more of the notable items. Now here, there's a knight, but watch out, as there's a second knight around the corner. The game is being sneaky. So, if you stand there and wait a second, this halberd knight will start walking towards you. So you can lure the halberd knight and get a 1v1. And that's what I would suggest doing, as a 1v1 is easier than a 1v2. Especially when dealing with formidable knights. So upon taking them out, you are free to continue on. You can drop down here, and then take a left to get to a certain set of grace. And that is the Elder Lion section. Though I will be showing you how to get there with more notable items. So we're going to drop down here. Grab a golden rune. And there are some enemies sitting on these giant crossbow ballista things. So we're going to drop down. Just kill all of them. There's a smithing stone 2 here. Some more enemies sitting on ballistas. And now we can drop down to the ground level. There's even more enemies. If you insisted on taking the front gate, this is where you would start. Now that does get you a Golden Rune 1 and a Golden Rune 2, but you'll be facing down all of those ballistas. So, as I said, just not worth it in my opinion. But with that being said, there's some more enemies here. You don't need to kill them, but it doesn't take much time. Pretty easy, especially on a magic build. And they give a bit over 100 runes each, so pretty good. And I don't consider it to be grinding because we're only killing them once. You can head up that way, but that means facing down more ballistas and it gets you to the main courtyard. I'll be showing how to get to the main courtyard a different way. When I said you could drop down for a Site of Grace earlier, this is where that Site of Grace is, in the Elder Lion section. Don't worry, the Elder Lion cannot chase you in here, so you're safe. And this is a good time to upgrade your flask and allocate them if you so desire. Now this section, there's no point in doing this yet, as the main reason to go here is the tower at the very end, but you can't open the tower until you defeat the main boss of this area. So if you want, you can grind these golems. There's, I believe, a 10% chance to get their halberd, which is actually a colossal weapon, despite being called a halberd. But you can grind that. It's a pretty good weapon. It's something that I use from time to time. It's powerful, it's good, it's reliable, but you do have to grind for it. But moving past that, there's a teleporter just behind this enemy, and you can take the teleporter. Again, you can't open the door until you've defeated the next main boss. There's no reason to come here now, but this is how you get to this tower. And yeah, this is where the boss is on the map. So once you get there, you can head to this tower and activate his Great Rune. Personally, I don't use Great Runes, which is why I went there now, just to show it off. But from there, you can head back to Rampart Tower. And that was the back way, and everything to do with that. So now, I can show the bird way. If you have a bow, fire arrows, and shooting the barrels, very good because it one-shots the birds. Though, magic is also decent enough. Now, I would suggest, or something I suggested before, is purchasing a cracked pot, and that's so you can make a fire pot and throw into here, because it kills the bird. But if you didn't buy one, like me, then you can just walk towards the barrels, then walk back, then kill the bird. And that allows you to get a smithing stone 2. From there, you can head down here onto this rooftop, picking up a golden rune, and dropping down into here. Looking south, or to the right, you can find this person, Sorcerer Roger. He is the NPC that you could have summoned to help you defeat Margit. Tell him you're here to defeat Godrick, and he will give you some information, along with the ability to purchase a few magic-based Ashes of War. If you purchase one, then you'll get a dialogue option to gain more information. But moving on, there's a knight and an enemy here. If you're a melee build, I would suggest crouching and backstabbing the smaller guy who already died. Because while the knight is more formidable, a 1v1 against a full health knight is easier than a 1v2 against a knight at 60% health and also a torch guy. But having killed them, we can move on. Just headed through here. And once you make it to this section, you can head left, forward, or right. It's best to go right. Or you can pick up a gold pickled foul foot. And then you can head over here. On the left, there's a ladder. The gold pickled foul foot, by the way, is a consumable item that boosts your rune acquisition for a little bit of time. It's good to pop that once you kill the boss. But anyways, here you can pick up a stone sword key, and this is down in the room with that big enemy that I ignored before. Here you can pick up the Highland Axe, and once again we can just ignore that enemy. You can run here, where there's the stone sword key door, and then you can run over here, where we got Chrysalids Memento. But once Roderika becomes a spirit tuner, she drops the Crimson Hood here. So we can pick that up. And then we can run back into here for the elevator. The Highland Axe is a basic axe. Crimson Hood increases your health stat by 1 point. That's about it. But yes, that is the second way to get that shortcut. And that shortcut is important because it allows us to quickly make it to the courtyard. So after sitting at the site of grace to get everything back, we are going to take the elevator down. We are going to send it back up. Just in case we die, we won't have to wait for the elevator again. And you want to head to the back left side of the room, where you can make it into this little hallway. The big guy is too big to fit through the doorway, so you don't have to worry about him chasing you. And here you enter the large courtyard. Stick to the left side in the beginning here, as it allows you to avoid all of the flame sprayers that are pointed all in generally the same direction. This allows you to get behind them. But after clearing out this little corner, you can head down to these stairs. Now this has to do with incantations So if you're not a faith user who uses incantations, you can completely ignore this step. But I want this guide, walkthrough, whatever you want to call it, to encompass every type of build. So because of that, we are going to be heading down here, using one stone sword key to open this door, where we will have access to 2 chests. The first one, giving us the God Slayer's Seal, which requires 27 faith, but if my knowledge is correct, it is a pretty good seal for around that faith level. You also get the Godskin Prayer Book, which can be given to Corrin to learn Black Flame and Black Flame Blade. From there, you can head back up into the courtyard. Or, if you're not a faith user, you can just ignore that entirely and never leave the courtyard. So, yeah, these little flame sprayer things, as long as there's a person on them, you want to stay behind them so they don't shoot you with fire. But in this courtyard, once you get through the enemies, one of these bodies will have the pike. This is a very long-ranged spear, so you can pick that up, along with a few other miscellaneous items. Nothing too important. But here on the other side, kind of on the northeast part of the courtyard, you can head up these stairs to grab the wooden great shield. This is a great shield that only requires 14 strength, making it the most accessible great shield in the game. From there, we can hop down, and you can see a doorway with a site of grace there. That's the site of grace that I mentioned earlier, where I said you can head along the rooftop and then enter the door in the distance. This is that door. So that's the 2 different ways to get here. From here, there are 2 different ways to get to the boss. The fast, easy way is to pull that lever and take that elevator up. So we're going to be showing the slower, more difficult way first, as it has more goodies. So what you want to do is kill that dog and this Omen. They can be very difficult, especially for melee players, but good luck. That's all I have on that. Is just good luck. But killing them, do not rest at the site of grace or they will respawn, and you want them dead for what's coming up. Now here, there's a bird, and it's one of the more extra dangerous birds that has fire. So beware of that. But again, shielding is pretty good against them. So up here, you can take a U-turn to the left, and resting here is a sneaky guy. So killing him grants you a smithing stone 2. From there, there is another bird, along with another exile soldier. So you want to kill the 2 of them. From there will be a doorway on the right, and heading into there you'll find a new NPC in Nefeli Lu, along with 4 smithing stone 1. So talking to her is the first part of her quest. Wait until she repeats her dialogue, and you can now summon her for the next major boss. From there, you can also pick up a golden seed, and between these two buildings here, there's a very narrow pathway with a smithing stone too. Then there are 2 exile soldiers and a troll. Just beyond the troll is a fog wall, but if you take a right before the fog wall, there's a site of grace. So I'll be showing a second way to get there. For now, you want to lure the troll all the way back here. All the way back into the courtyard where we killed the Omen. Because right next to where the Omen was is a statue. One that you are too small to break, but a large enemy like a troll can break it for you. So doing that gets you 5 smithing stone 1 and a smithing stone 2. And from there, you can either run away or kill the troll. Personally, I prefer to kill them as they're pretty easy enemies. They have a lot of health, and they can hit pretty hard, but their attacks are mostly easy to dodge. And they're more intimidation than anything. With them dead, you can safely run all the way back there to get the next site of grace. Or, I can show you the second easy way to go. So for the second easy way, you just take this elevator up. You head through here. And you can ignore all these enemies, but because I'm already here, figured might as well do it. Just kill these jar enemies. They're weak to strike, along with magic. So, kill them, along with these ones, and that gets you 2 free cracked pots. From there, you can head down this little slope where you can kill a scarab to get the Ashawar Storm Collar. And then you can head straight forward this site of grace. And there's the troll. So, like I said, this is the fast, easy way. Although, you miss out on some smithing stone 2, a golden seed, and Nefeli Lu. So, the more difficult path is worth it, in my opinion. But from there, we can head back this way to where the jar enemies were. But we can take a U-turn to the right and head up this little side path where there are some kukri. Good ranged option for melee builds. And you can jump into here, where you can take a right, and then you can do a little U-turn to the right here. You'll need to do a jump to get these 3 smithing stone 2s. But after doing that, you can hop back over and continue on. There are a few more goodies sprinkled about. Nothing too notable, but worth getting. Here in this room, full of just basic commoner enemies, underneath these stairs, you'll find the Manor Tower Shield. This is a second Great Shield. It has double the strength requirement and weight of the one Great Shield, but it has much better defenses and especially a better guard boost. Here you'll find a message from Roger, along with a smithing stone 3. And there you can head down here, grabbing some more goodies. And out here, you want to take a left because there's a shortcut door back to the previous site of grace. So you can rest there. That way if you die, you respawn there. As there is a difficult mini-boss down here. So again, I believe that it is worth it. But head down, there's a few bat enemies. So kill them. Start making your way down. You can get 2 smithing stone 2s there. And then down here, there are some rats. So nothing too difficult just yet. Although there is a large rat that doesn't get stunned the way the small rats do. If you have a shield, guard counters, very good. So here, there's a little scarab, but instead of giving you an Ash of War like most of them do, this one gives you the Sorcery Rancor Call. Not worth it, in my opinion. But that's not why we're down here. You see, in this larger section, ground will rumble, and an ulcerated tree spirit will pop out of the ground. This is the difficult mini-boss I mentioned. If you're running a build that has the capacity to do a lot of stance breaking, think Impaling Thrust, Square Off, Unsheath, any big weapon like a Great Hammer, go for it, as stance breaking is this thing's main weakness. At half health, it will explode. If you manage to stance break it and get a critical, immediately back away, as it's almost certainly at the health range to explode. But just keep fighting it. It's pretty fast, it's got some wide sweeping hits, but I believe in you. Keep in mind it can explode more than once, so do beware of that. But with that being said, you should be able to take it down before too long. And doing so gets you a free golden seed. This will put you at 2 if you've been following along. It was also protecting a stone sword key, so you can get another one of those for free. From there, you can head over to this weird face looking thing, where there will be a bloodstone, or a blood stain, showing that Roger has died, along with the Prince of Death's pustule. Now, the Prince of Death's pustule raises vitality. It is a talisman, and vitality governs resistance to the effects of death. If you're familiar with Dark Souls, death is just curse. I believe petrification in Dark Souls 2. It's the status condition that just kills you instantly. And so having a talisman that you can throw on at any time that gives you some resistance to that, very good, and that will be appreciated. And seeing that Bloodstain will help with Roger's quest. But here, you can drop down, and this is where we use the one stone sword key to get the iron wet blade. So, hopefully that puts into perspective where we are. But from there, you can teleport to the secluded cell. This is the Set of Grace after the giant. And here, you have enough smithing stones to get a single weapon to +7. So if you want, you can go do that now. And that would be a good thing to do. You can also upgrade your flask again. And this upcoming boss is very difficult for this early on in the game. Again, you can summon Nefeli Liu if you want help. But you can go get your Spirit Ashes up to +2 if you've been following along up to this point. You can get your weapon to +7. You can summon Nefeli. So, there are things you can do to make this boss easier. Also, he does roll when you fire magic at him, but he's not nearly as good at dodging as some other bosses, so magic still works fine. And hitting at range, at least in phase 1, is pretty good. He has like one gap closing attack, as you can see there, and he only has like 1 or 2 attacks that could hit you. Now at half health, he does a little cutscene thing. You want to just run straight at him, and that allows you to dodge all the fire. Whether you go melee or magic is up to you. I would suggest melee, especially if you're new to the game, as melee is more simple, and a good chunk of the difficulty in Souls games, not as much in Elden Ring, because mechanics have gotten more difficult, but Souls games in general, a lot of the difficulty comes from the knowledge requirement, and so the simpler the build, the better, at least when you're new. Now here, you can pop the gold pickled foul foot if you want, as you have plenty of time to do so, and it will increase your, it increases the amount of runes you get for the boss. I'm not going to do that, but here, you get Godrick's Great Rune, Remembrance of the Grafted, and 20k. Godrick's Great Rune is the thing you need for the tower that was blocked shut earlier. Now here, this is Gustak, reveling in our victory, and you can purchase the stuff from him. Like I said, Castus, which is a fist, Buckler, which has a unique parry, and the bandit set. That's about it. Now, Godrick's Great Rune, you can take that, you can go here and make your way over to the tower, and you can activate it at the top of the tower. You can then equip it at a Site of Grace, and then if you have any rune arcs, you can pop the rune arc, and it will boost all of your stats by 5 points. And think of that as being embered in Dark Souls 3, basically. It's a rare consumable item that helps you out. But upon defeating him, you can head back to the Roundtable hold, where this door will be opened and you can talk to Enya. She gives you a lot of information, but at the end, you can trade in his remembrance for either a great axe or a fist. And you can duplicate his soul in Weeping Peninsula in order to get both. You can also pop it for another 20k, but I will not be doing that. Just to not level myself up too much. And you will now find Roger here. Tell him you've defeated Godrick, and he will give you a +8 thrusting sword. Pretty useful. So we are going to head into here, as this door will now be opened after we've talked to Enya. And Gideon will give you a proper introduction. Talk to him enough, and you will get the option to learn about 5 of the major bosses. One of which you've already killed in Godrick. And from there, you can also talk to Nefeli Lu here. And she will give you the Arsenal Charm. If you're familiar with Dark Souls, this is Havel's Ring. So it's more of the Dark Souls 3 version than the Dark Souls 1 version, where it's kinda weak, but still kinda useful. But talk to her until her dialogue repeats. As a general rule, always talk to NPCs until their dialogue repeats. And from there, if you didn't talk to Hugo already, you can talk to him now, get some more information, and get your weapon to +7. From there, we are going to head back to Godrick the Grafted, and this is where I'm going to end it here, because I like to keep things around an hour as much as possible. So, next time, well, we've done all of Stormveil this time. Next time we will be doing Lyranny of the Lakes. I hope you found this to be educational, I hope you found it to be entertaining, and with that being said, yeah.